Hi there, Coastal Bend. This is Meteorologist Carly Smith, and we are live. We're going to add in what you need to know on this graphic now as we speak. So now through Friday, roughly 7 a.m., we are expecting cold rain to continue across the Coastal Bend. Thank you for joining and being patient if you're watching this later on for the video to start. We've got cold rain, so you're going to want the winter gear or the rain gear plus the winter coats, especially for this afternoon. And if you happen to be out and about overnight, that is when we are anticipating the most rainfall. So what's up everyone? I'm Meteorologist Carly Smith. We are live now at 10:28 a.m. and we are tracking the rain, y'all. So what we have going on is an upper level low that's really set up across kind of El Paso and southern New Mexico. That is what's fueling the moisture that's finally starting to get wrung out in the atmosphere. It's starting to get squeezed as a coastal low is pushing north and a cold front is pushing south, and that upper level low is pushing to the east across the Lone Star State. So I'll go into those details a bit more in a minute, but I do want to point out North Texas, seeing snow, far North Texas, mostly north of I-20, south of I-20, a bit of a wintry mix. Further south than that, freezing rain into the hill country. We are expecting Interstate 35 to stay mostly just rain until you get north of Waco. So for anyone that's traveling to the Cotton Bowl, not the best conditions. This will move out by Friday morning, but still cold temperatures up there in North Texas early in the morning. We should see some some melting throughout the day, but with clouds still expected, it may not be as much as you hope if you are traveling that direction for the game. So now here's a closer look at home where we are starting to see the rain move in. So check out that radar. 8 o'clock, not much in the way of rain. Now that we're in the 10 o'clock hour, we are starting to see the rain develop, especially from that upper level low. So this is starting out in the upper levels of the atmosphere. There still may be a little bit of evaporation or drying before it makes it to the surface, but light rain now starting to cover the region. Heavier rain to our south into Kennedy County right now, and by heavier, it's still pretty light to moderate. But that's what we're going to expect the rest of the day into the overnight hours. I do anticipate more moderate to heavy rainfall to develop, and we'll break down that forecast coming up. But this is, again, your live radar where it's just rain. Rain is all we're going to see. It's not going to be freezing rain. It's not going to cause any stress or problems in that regard. But as far as our rainfall coverage goes, let me make sure this is the next graphic. I think it is. Weather impact alerts between really now all the way through 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Rainfall coverage really dwindles. Maybe the coast is still dealing with some rain during the morning commute. Otherwise, we should be much drier by the time you're headed out the door. So this is the graphic I wanted to get to, our temperatures. So we are well above freezing. Now I do want to point out Freer and Benavides are getting some readings in the 30s. Still above freezing, so not going to deal with freezing rain at that point. And temperatures should warm up a bit as we continue into the afternoon. Falfurrias is at 39, Kingsville at 46, Robstown 45, Corpus Christi is well above freezing at 46 degrees, so no threat for freezing rain in Corpus Christi, Ingleside, Sinton, Beeville. Freer, Benavides, I need to look at the upper level charts for Duval County, but overall, you should keep rain as well. If anything mixes in, it may be something like an ice pellet or sleet, but I wouldn't expect that. We have a pretty large warm layer that would melt anything, and I don't think, even if we were to reach freezing at the surface, which I don't think Freer or Benavides will, I don't think it will be enough time for that ice or that raindrop to refreeze into sleet or an ice pellet. So regardless, I think we all will just keep the cold rain in place. That is my official forecast on this Thursday morning. One of the reasons why rain is increasing is because the atmosphere is going to get squeezed in between, I mentioned this earlier, the cold front to our north, a upper level low to our west, and then the coastal low to our south. As that coastal low moves north, we're starting to see more and more rain inch in. You can see there's less rain in the valley right now. So with that being said, I do think that we see some breaks in the rain late afternoon, especially for areas like Kennedy, Claiborne County, possibly Corpus Christi, around the evening commute. But it's it's not going to be much. And by the time we're around 7, 8, 9 o'clock, the rain's really going to ramp back up again. But this graphic is important because I drew all the arrows where they're squeezing the atmosphere. That's going to increase our rain with more instability and just lead to more moisture also filtering in. So that's why I think rainfall only intensifies a little bit as we head into the overnight hours. Again, there are winter weather advisories in place across much of North Texas. This is north of San Antonio, north of Austin. DFW is in this winter weather advisory and a winter storm warning, especially for areas across the northern DFW metroplex. That continues up into Arkansas and portions along the Ohio and Mississippi River valleys. Taking a look outside, here's the latest on the Harbor Bridge. Look how close that is to connecting. 46 right now at 10 a.m. Feels like 40, so it feels like temperatures will stay in the upper 30s. We may see our temperature fall a little bit as the rain settles in, but for the most part, we will stay above freezing. So Futurecast, here we have it. Rain settling in by noon, everyone pretty much seeing some rain. As I mentioned, there may be a break as we head into the late afternoon, early evening hours, but that rain ramps up again by 7 p.m. We see some of the heaviest rain around midnight, but it clears out. This is 7 a.m. This particular model has been consistent with moving it out by 7 a.m. with little to no impacts for the morning commute. A couple of the other models have kept a little bit of rain right along the coastline by 7, 8 a.m. So Zach Franco says he's got the light drizzle here, which is exactly what the radar is showing. So I'm glad to hear that. Everyone, thank you again for watching and joining. If you have any specific questions, I'll do my best to answer them. Just post it in the comments and we'll go from there. So yeah, right now, clearing skies into Friday with this particular model. Now there is a chance that the coastal band is kind of cut in half, where there's clouds to the south and sunshine to the north. If that's the case, areas under the clouds will stay in the 40s, areas in the sunshine will get into the 50s. This is Friday. And so yeah, no rain on Friday, no freezing temperatures until we possibly get into Saturday. This is when we have a risk of freezing again, especially for Beeville and George West and possibly Mathis. Those locations will be the closest to that freezing mark. Taking a look at our watches and warnings, we just have a small craft advisory that is going to be in place through 9 p.m. Friday for our local bays and waterways. Small craft advisory through Saturday at 6 a.m. for the Gulf water. As that coastal low is mixing things up, it's going to create rough surf. Out in the ocean, we're talking 8 to 12 foot swells. Closer to our beach, they will be smaller, but still rough conditions out there, cold conditions as well. Packery Channel temperature this morning was 51 degrees. Again, here's the winter weather advisory map. This is where we're worried about freezing temperatures and freezing precipitation. Freezing rain, especially for the south through the hill country and south of Dallas. Some sleet and snow may mix in. We are dealing with areas north of Waco on I-35 under that winter weather advisory. South of Waco, not under a winter weather advisory. So if you're traveling north, that's when you will run into the biggest problems. Icing, as I mentioned, one of the big factors for areas south and through the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Additionally, snowfall, some of the highest in snowfall totals could be up to 6 inches across North Texas and anywhere closer to 8 inches for portions of southeastern Oklahoma and Arkansas. Futurecast, let's check it out. So there's that squeezing that's taking place, which is why our rain has already started to ramp up. The heavier rain, like I mentioned, expecting late this evening and overnight. So areas to the south of Corpus Christi may get a break in the rainfall late this afternoon and into the evening, but then everyone sees the rain again as that upper level low is pushing, well, this is backwards, but is pushing everything off to the east. As that continues to take place, we get the drier air moving in. That is why we are anticipating more sunshine behind this system. But there's that cutoff cloud layer that could develop and lead to slightly different temperatures for areas under the clouds versus areas outside of the clouds. And that makes the forecast a little tricky. So how much rain are we going to get? That graphic should be coming up, I believe. Yes. after this. It's going to rain all day. Yes, there may be some breaks, but a light, steady rain is expected with some heavier rain overnight. It is going to rain in the watershed, so we're getting to that graphic next. Just one more reminder, the cold rain is the reason for a weather impact alert. It will just be a cold rain. We are not tracking freezing temperatures in the coastal bend. So rain gear, winter coats still needed because 40s is pretty cold, at least for me. I don't know if you agree. This is the graphic everyone's been wanting, 1 to 2 inches possible across the coastal bend and the watershed areas further south where you may get a little bit of a break in the rain, 1/2 inch to 1 inch of rainfall, which would include Kennedy County, Brooks County, portions of Claver County, including Kingsville, southern Jim Wells County, and into Duval County. This is isolated amounts, still going to be possible, but up to 2 inches would be the higher end. Around 1 inch is about average for most of the region, and 1/2 inch or less is the lower end of rainfall totals. We do warm up into the weekend. Sunshine is anticipated on Saturday. There is a chance for a freeze, especially for Bee and Live Oak County Saturday morning. Then Sunday, we warm up before there is actually another weak cold front that moves through Monday into Tuesday. Or I said that backwards, Sunday into Monday. You do see those temperatures nearing 70 on Sunday. Then they fall to a high of 60. So we stay below normal as we head into next week, which is quite a treat, considering we were above normal all of fall, summer, and the beginning of winter. So I think I answered everyone's questions. Thank you again for joining this live weather update, since we are seeing more rain than we saw all of November, October, and December combined anticipated today. It was 0.73 for the total of those 3 months, 0.75, so we got a little bit of rain early on in January. That has us up to 3/4 of an inch to date, and now more rain is falling, and it is expected to be more than we saw since October 1st, which is just wild, but thankfully we have some rain in the forecast. Thanks again for watching, y'all. I'm gonna pull up this 7-day big, and actually, let me see if I can get this. Anyway, that is it. I'm Meteorologist Carly Smith signing off on this dreary Thursday with rain expected to only pick up into the overnight hours. 118 is pretty far out, Meg. I just saw that before I signed out.